register or registration, etc. Any or all things registered are fully surrendered with consent to the Crown Corporation, with no legal recourse until such things are removed by exposing the intent by those who serve the Crown Corporation to commit fraud knowingly or unknowingly. An example would be a child that is registered is Crown copyright by ignorant consent where the truth of registering was not brought forth, which is the original intent by Crown Corporation servants' owners to have people offer their children unknowingly into slavery of soul and thus body. It's the soul they're really after, so keep that in mind. Register and registration. Register, 2 words, regis, stir. There's more to it than that, but let's just stick down to this whole phonetic or Phoenician trick that has been played on everybody by giving words multiple meanings where you're only given 1 or 2 definitions without ever being told the hidden intent, what's really going on inside the word. No one ever stops to think twice about a cash register. Well, what is register? It's really simply this. It is to rule the divine feminine creative aspect, your God nature. It means to rule you. It means to rule you and all of your infinite godly powers. Try this one on. If I was God, and I am, this is what I would do. And as soon as you start understanding that true nature and the true crazy awesomeness that humanity and mankind is, that it's been controlled through its ignorance and innocence. I'll get into that later as far as compassion. It's very easy to confuse a compassionate heart because we'd never imagine anybody doing anything this bad to us. Well, I've said before, if you want to catch a serial killer, you better start thinking like one. Not being one, just thinking like one. And that's where people's stomachs begin to turn. I know mine did, but I had to look in order to really, oh man, this is some pure evil stuff. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with here. Pure evil. Completely unredeemable, evil, demonic, whatever you want to call it, principalities. Beyond lost souls, because they don't even have a soul. So getting back to register and registration. And this is why cash is actually spiritual in its intent and its binding. Any and all things that are registered are fully surrendered, with consent to the Crown Corporation, with no legal recourse, until such things are removed by exposing the intent by those who serve the Crown Corporation to commit fraud knowingly or unknowingly. I have made it well known worldwide, to the Vatican, to the City of London, all of the castles and what have you, and countless police organizations. RCMP, you name it, OPP. Oh, the criminals don't want to hear this stuff, though. I'm talking politicians all across Canada, Australia, United States, Europe, Great Britain, my home turf in Ireland. So this is all already well documented and well publicized. So there's your intent changing. No, it wasn't your intent to use a name and commit fraud, was it? You just thought it was what everybody else was doing. And there's the innocence and the compassion and the fully accepting nature to allow anything and everything into your universe. Time to stand up a little bit and just, put the shields up and have a look for a change. Instead of buying everything like a seagull. Gull from gullible. Gullet, which means you'll swallow anything. And too many people have been swallowing that blue pill for their entire lifetime. Well, it's like Mary said to me today, perfect line is, the irony of this game is that most people don't know that they don't know. And that's what we're doing here, waking up at least one side of that not knowingness. And people can kick and scream all they want, ego-wise, and, well, this, that, and the other, we need money. Fine, go ahead, knock yourself out. But you're going to get sucked into that pit with the rest of them. Nothing to worry about because you won't exist anymore. No, that's not what I want you to do. That's certainly not what I would do. Merely the only thing I offer here is a choice. And to the degree that you stand in that choice, it's a degree that you will move away from potentially being wiped out. Now remember this, any and all things registered are fully surrendered. So what have you got to lose that you haven't already given away anyway, stupid? People that are fighting, kicking, and screaming, well, I got to save my house, and I've got to save this, and well, you can't because you're using a legal name. It's owned by somebody else anyway. And the only reason they haven't come and grabbed it right away is because they want to. They're not interested in the house, the car, the kids, or what. Well, the kids, yes, for sure. They don't want the money and the asset value. That's what everybody thinks. No, they want your soul. And the more you fight over the things that you are possessed by, the more they own your soul. And the more energy that you will be feeding that dark principality that's destroying you. And it just takes a change of mind on this. I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I sent any legal paperwork to a demon. No, this is a mental one. This is where you change your heart. That's where the true power lies. It's been scientifically proven. The heart as a mind is 10,000 times more potent than that gray shit stuck in the inside of your head. The intuitive mind, the feel, the knowingness. That's all the shield you need. So here's another example. How much do you love your children? Really? They registered? You registered? They registered in school? Registered with a doctor? Did you register your gift thing for your wedding? Yeah, we got to go and register at this store. Yeah, to make sure that everything registered is given up spiritually. You don't own a damn thing. While you walk around with a legal name without knowing what it really is, you don't own anything. You are owned lock, stock, and barrel. You're pure slave. It's when you wake up to these truths that you have nothing to lose that you haven't already given away or lost already. And look at the reluctance people have to, they'll fight for possessions they don't own, but God damn it, will they fight for themselves and their soul? Do you see how degraded we got? So here's another example of registration. A child that is registered as crown property by ignorant consent where the truth of registering was not brought forth. So there's fraud right there. There was intent to commit fraud. That's why in a birth certificate copy I have, it says right on it, proof of intent to commit fraud. That's what a birth certificate is. It's actually evidence of the proof of intent to commit fraud. The mere fact that a registration office exists is all the proof of intent to commit fraud that is required. If there was no intent to register or commit fraud by claiming souls via a physical means, those things would never exist. And it's only upon the intention of going to register your children that the contract was already sealed. People talk about their wedding anniversary because it was a special day where they got married. No, they were married the instant he said or she said, will you marry me? And he said or she said, I do. I will. Wasn't that a fucking church or a city hall? That contract was sealed with acceptance of, yes, I will. That's the deal. Done. Everything else is just tradition, drama, and nonsense. Absolute garbage. So if you don't own the marriage, which church, you've given up the soul to Satan there anyway. That's the whole. And I'll use Satan as an allegory. This is just an easier way of saying dark principality and those, whatever, demonic aspects. Okay. So another example of registration. A child that is registered as crown property by ignorant consent where the truth of registering was not brought forth, fraud, intent to commit, which is the original intent by the Crown Corporation servants owners. Yeah, those that own the Crown Corporation, we can go back to the corporation sole or sole proprietorship aspect. The corporation sole, which is the Bank of England, there's only one shareholder. Isn't that funny? And everything hinges right back to that. And of course, we can go to Venice where the blue sky bonds, all insurances and all birth certificate bonds are traded. And, Rome. And the whole intent here is to have people offer their children unknowingly into slavery of soul and thus body. It's like, if you knew you were, I want to give my children's soul to Satan, is this where I sign up? I want to make sure that my children are fed on by the vampires to make sure that they are completely destroyed as living points of consciousness, the brightest and most magnificent in the universe. Is this where I cut their throats? Because it is the soul they're really after. And you really do have to get this. You have to keep that in mind at all times. They're not interested in money, and while people are talking about money and all the rest of it, they're missing the point. That's the distraction, idiots. Because I can go back to the birth certificate, which have I got? Yeah, it's coming up, right? I did these in order as they fell out of my face, but funny how it all goes together. Because all money that you think is money, not backed by anything real, nor would it be real even if it was. It's still a third-party interloper. It's still creating a value outside of yourself, thinking that you need to go and work for somebody else while somebody, skims off the top, typically 95%. I don't know about you, but having somebody skim 95% off your paycheck might annoy you. But that's a fact. And it shows up in things like inflation, which is a big joke. It's actually money deflation in value. That's what inflation is. It's showing how worthless the currency is. And I'll tell you, the hyperinflation that's coming is going to be the absolute recapturing of the divine feminine spirit that was trapped within the gold originally. The whole allegory of consciousness being trapped in gold was humanity being duped into thinking that little piece of metal that we create anyway, because we're kind of God, actually had more value than us. And that later translated through the gold, silver, and what have you, finally to where we're at with plastic monopoly money and little bits of iron ore stamped with the Whore of Babylon, Queen Elizabeth on it, right? What is coin means high priest coins. They're your high priests. You're saying that you're a high priest for the Whore of Babylon. But that is simply a measure of the loss of control. Because every birth bond that gets created, there is a soul attached to it.